That all adds up to people saying, hey, look, we understand there's a Second Amendment, but maybe we don't want our brands associated with all that's going on right now. Yeah.
All right, David Swerlick, thanks so much.
Thanks, Fred.
I'll be back. All right, there are also troubling new questions now being raised today about the immediate response to the Parkland, Florida shooting. Sources telling CNN it wasn't just one Broward County Sheriff's deputy who did not enter the building as the shooting unfolded. We now know that 3 other Broward County deputies were also outside the school and had not rushed in when Coral Springs police officers arrived. The Broward County Sheriff's Office is investigating these claims. This as we're learning chilling new details about many warning signs before the massacre. Here's CNN's Randy Kay.
While the gunman was inside Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School killing people at random, a trained Broward County Sheriff's deputy did nothing.
Devastated, sick to my stomach. There are no words.
The Broward County Sheriff revealing the stunning news that one deputy, Scott Peterson, who was armed and in uniform, clearly knew there was an active shooter, but stayed in his position outside Building 12. The sheriff says video shows the deputy doing nothing for more than 4 minutes while the bullets flew inside. The shooting lasted about 6 minutes. Deputy Peterson has since resigned. When reporters asked what he should have done,
Went in, addressed the killer, killed the killer.
And new information that Peterson wasn't the only sheriff's deputy who failed to act. Now, Coral Springs police sources tell CNN that 3 other Broward County sheriff's deputies also remained outside, pistols drawn but hiding behind their vehicles. It's unclear if the shooter was still there when they arrived, but not one of them had gone into the school. It was the Coral Springs officers who were the first to go in. Meanwhile, during the shooting, another key misstep. Turns out the surveillance video security teams were watching in hopes of locating the 19-year-old gunman in the school had been rewound. The 20-minute video delay led authorities to believe the gunman was still in the building, when in reality, he was long gone.
The delay never put us in a situation where any kid's lives were in danger.
Long before the shooting, there were warning signs that went nowhere. Even the FBI missed a major red flag. CNN has reviewed a transcript from a January 5th call this year. A tipster close to the Parkland shooter warning the FBI that the teen was, quote, going to explode. The female tipster spoke of his social media posts about guns and his violence in school, saying she feared him getting into a school and just shooting the place up. The FBI has admitted that proper protocols weren't followed on a key tip about the suspect just weeks before the attack.
There was a mistake made. We know that. But it is our job to make sure that we do everything in our power to ensure that does not happen again.
Also, the Broward County Sheriff now revealing their office had received 18 calls related to the suspect over the past decade. In a 2016 call, officers got a tip that he planned to shoot up an unknown school. Police records show the responding deputy passed the information on to a school resource officer. In another call last November, police records show a caller warned the teen was collecting guns, suggesting he could be a school shooter in the making. Officers simply referred it to the Palm Beach Sheriff's Department for review. Also last year, a family in Palm Beach County alerted police that the suspect had put a gun up to someone's head. The suspect himself called 911 about the incident.
I kind of got mad and I started punching walls and stuff, and then a kid came at me and threw me on the ground.
Police responded and were told at the scene it had all been worked out. Randy Kay, CNN, Parkland, Florida.
CNN senior law enforcement analyst Tom Fuentes is with me now. So, Tom, one would believe that trained police officers would recognize the sound of an AR-15, style weapon and know that they might be outgunned. The Broward County Sheriff seemed to indicate his deputies didn't follow protocol. Just listen.
When we in law enforcement arrive at an active shooter, we go in and address the target, and that's what should have been done.
Explanation, not knowing what to do, freezing, waiting for other orders. What do you think happened?
What explanation in this case? Because police officers since 1999 Columbine have been taught no waiting, and especially if you hear shots in progress, get in there, find the shooter, and stop him, whatever it takes. You don't wait for backup. You don't wait for a SWAT team to come and put their gear on and you know, do that kind of assault by team. You just get in there and stop it. And why they didn't, in this case, the school resource officer himself originally that we heard about, and then the other 3 deputies. And apparently this controversy didn't come to light until the Coral Gables police officers that arrived went right in with the shooting and noticed that Broward County deputies didn't go in with them. And they came back and complained to their chief of police, who then apparently had an argument with Sheriff Israel about, you know, my guys went in, why didn't yours? And apparently that's where this became public after the police departments argued about different protocols going into that building.
So as a former local police officer, formerly with the FBI, how does that make you feel to hear, see, witness accounts that there were officers there who could have intervened but didn't?
Officers needed to go into the danger zone and do their job and don't. It's a terrible situation. And all of the times that we've heard after 9/11, all of the times of bravery of first responders saying when others are running from the danger, they're running to the sound of the gunfire. And then you have a situation like this and it doesn't happen. And I really don't know what the excuse is for it.
Police officers, security there, armed. And now there are suggestions, whether it be from the president, even the NRA is advocating the idea of arming police. You heard the president say, you know, people who are adept to using a firearm. Where's your level of comfort on the idea of people in school, working in school, whether as instructors, coaches, whatever capacity, being adept to that kind of training?
We don't have time for me to list all the reasons why I don't think that would work, but I'll start with the first comment, adept. I mentioned I was a firearm instructor at state level, at federal level, and during the thousands of hours of firearms training that officers and agents go through, a large part of that training is when not to shoot. We used to call it shoot, don't shoot decision-making, having the judgment of it. If there's a bad guy in front of you but 100 innocent people behind him, do you pull the trigger knowing you might kill the innocents? And in a school situation, if you take this one where the fire alarm's pulled, the halls are full of kids that are innocents and faculty, and then you have this, if a teacher has a gun pulled out, are they likely to kill a student by accident? And then the fact that they have the gun come out when the police come out when the police. And for a woman, where are you going to hide that gun during the day? You can't put it in your desk drawer. Somebody might steal it and you can't get to it. You're not going to have it in a safe in the principal's office. You can't get to it. On your person, hiding it. If you wear a dress, if you wear a skirt, are you going to have to wear a jacket every day with a belt and a holster the way a detective, you know, on duty would do? It's not a real practical solution, even for a variety of reasons, much less being adept is more than just pulling the trigger and making the bullet go downrange.
Right, and the comfort level, all of that. And, you know, so many teachers have arms open. They want to hug their kids. I remember that from my school teachers, and certainly that would present a real problem of where exactly to put the gun if it comes to that for these teachers.
You know, and the kids are going to be, hey, Miss Jones, are you packing? You know, I mean, it's not a good situation for.
All right, we'll have you back. Tom Fuentes, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, from the gun debate to the other major cloud hanging over the White House, the Russia investigation. A former top Trump campaign official pleads guilty to 2 criminal charges, making him the 3rd known associate working with the special counsel. Details on that next. Special counsel Robert Mueller is clamping down on 2 of President Trump's former campaign officials as part of his Russia investigation. The special counsel filing new charges against former campaign chairman Paul Manafort, and they include money laundering, foreign lobbying violations, and making false statements. Those charges coming down just hours after another campaign official and longtime Manafort business partner, Rick Gates, pleaded guilty to 2 criminal charges. President Trump, though, is maintaining his silence on this situation.
Mr. President, any concerns about Rick Gates?
Thank you very much.
Concerns about Rick Gates?
Thank you, Press. I would. Yeah, I would. We will be there.
Thank you, Press.
Great place.
About Rick Gates cutting a deal with Mueller?
Thank
Mr.
you very
President?
much, everybody.
All right, let's bring in CNN legal analyst Michael Zeldin. He is a former federal prosecutor and a former special assistant to Mueller at the Justice Department. Good to see you. So Mueller has reportedly flipped Gates. Reportedly flipped Gates.
And failure to report foreign bank accounts account. We know from the pleadings that Gates submitted in his plea that he and Manafort were hand in hand in that tax scheme. So now you have records and you have a witness. And there's really no defense. It's, did you file the taxes or did you not file the taxes? Did you report the bank accounts or did you not report the bank accounts? And then you have to do it with intent. And the person who can say, yes, we did that purposefully was Gates, because they did it together. So Gates can convict Manafort in Virginia, in my estimation, and they don't even have to worry about the D.C. case, which is a little bit more complicated because it's international money laundering conspiracy stuff.
So if you're Manafort, is it too late for you to try to strike a deal?
No, because I think that Mueller really wants to hear from Manafort. I don't know what Mueller thinks Manafort can offer, whether it's the so-called collusion or whether it's just knowledge of the counterintelligence work. It may not involve the president or anybody in his inner circle, but remember, Mueller indicted the 13 Russians. That was counterintelligence. That's part of his mandate. Maybe he thinks that Manafort, who's been working in Russia since 2005, may be able to shed light on that. So there's a lot that I think that
to see if there's more. We haven't heard from the president, similar to prior occasions when we have heard from him. Is the White House or is the president worried?
Well, I don't know is the answer. It depends on what Manafort and Gates have to say with respect to them. If you think of the Mueller mandate as counterintelligence, collusion, matters which may have arisen out of it, which is sort of the Manafort indictments, financial crimes, and obstruction.